Here's Dr. Corsi.
Right here. How's everybody?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Get some rest, doctor.
Had a late night last night on the Q posts. And if somebody will drop the link to the live chat in the Discord, I'll post it up on Twitter and Gab. Okay, there we go. Let me just get going here with this. I thought the posts were very, very interesting last night. It was a big night last night, I felt. And a lot played out this morning. We'll talk about it in a minute. We've done a lot of talking and planning and thinking about the weekend event. And Pamphlet, do you want to give kind of a little summary about what's been going on and what we've been coming up with?
Yeah, sure. Let's see, if you all are going to be attending the event, just look on the website that Tracy Beans has set up. It's operationjustice.us. There's an itinerary on there, a schedule for the day's events. There will be some speakers around what hours, like around noon? Y'all recall? No? Never mind, hon. 12:30 to 2:30 is when people will be speaking. 10:30 to 2.
Yeah,
okay.
And then we have the book signing set up.
And then we have a book signing event set up at Barnes & Noble at 3 p.m. And in just a second, I'll get the address for that so you can all take that down. Okay. The address for that Barnes & Noble is 625 Monroe Street, Northeast. That's in Washington, D.C., zip code 20017. Again, that's 625 Monroe Street. I'll type it into Discord live text here. So everybody tuning in on YouTube, if you look down at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see it pop up there.
And what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to, I'm still not feeling 100%. I don't really want to be outside the whole day and, marching, etc. So I'm going to do the book signing. And if you can it should be able to bring books you have, as well as to buy books there. If you want books signed, I'll be happy to sign books you already own, that you've already bought. And there's no charge for signing books. So, I'll be there in person. I'd like to start the event with, if we can get everybody in, and depending on the size of the crowd or the size of the group, say a few words, but, then we'll set up a table and I'll meet with everybody individually and sign your books. Inscribe them the way you want them inscribed, and make sure you get an autographed signature on the book you own. And if it takes us 2 or 3 hours, that's fine with me. We'll be there from, what time does it start, Pamphlet?
Right at 3 p.m. Eastern. I guess we'll be there, and, like you said, as long as it takes. I think Dr. C is planning on, saying a few words and signing everybody's books and just chatting with everybody.
Right, but everybody should be assured that, we'll stay as long as it takes to sign everybody's books. In other words, we're not going to cut it off at the end of an hour or something of that nature. If it takes us 3 hours to sign books, we'll stay there and sign books for 3 hours so that everybody gets a chance. Nobody has to worry that they're not going to get a signature if they come to the book signing. And it'll be a chance to meet everybody and say hello to everybody. And I think it should be a great event. It's supposed to be, the weather may not be the best, but I think the weather's going to hold out. And it's a great opportunity. Tracy Beans has done a lot of organizing on it, and Pamphlet and Firecracking worked on it today to make sure we would kind of coordinate everything. And I would know what, book signings are not easy to set up. You've got to get a bookstore. This is a late date to set it up. But I think it's really beginning to come together today, and I feel like we're going to have an event this Saturday. And so far, God willing and everything, I'm committed to be there. So that's, I think, the first thing we wanted to make sure everybody is aware of. Let's see if there's any comments in the over here in the in the live chat.
I see somebody asking, let's see, where did it go? Sal Renata asking, Pamphlet, are you going to stream the video on the book signing? I am not sure that I can work something like that out. I'll have to talk to Barnes & Noble and see if that's okay with them. I can't promise you anything, but I would like to do something like that. So if I can work that out, I will let y'all know.
Yeah, I think, you know, it might be nice even to put it on both the my channel, and we might have two live streams of it. Put one on my channel and put one on the live channel here on the Patriot Soapbox. We'll see. Let's work it out. Maybe if we could talk to Tanya's working about it. She's good on those kinds of details, Pamphlet.
Okay. Yeah, I'll speak with her later, and if I can get the okay from Barnes & Noble, it shouldn't be a problem to get some live footage streamed. And we'll restream it here and on Dr. Corsi's channel.
Okay, and then let's see if people are any other questions about the event. Someone saying Easter blessings to me from Northeastern Ohio. Edward, it's Emerald Z. Thank you. Well, of course, Northeastern Ohio is where I'm from. Born and raised in East Cleveland.
There's a Zell area in live chat asking, is it today that Dr. Corsi is going to be reading a chapter from his book? I think we had that for tomorrow. Are you still up for doing that?
Yeah, I think tomorrow night's fine. We'll do a chapter tomorrow night.
I think we planned on 7 p.m. Eastern, if I recall right.
I'll plan on that.
Great.
Well, you grew up in Northeastern Ohio. I grew up in Northwest Ohio.
By Toledo?
About 45 minutes from there.
Farther west?
Defiance area.
Defiance, yeah. Well, that's over by Detroit. It's another part of Ohio.
Yep.
Okay, let's see, anything else over here? Great. Okay, then let's get into it. I posted it up on the, it's all posted up on Twitter, and we're ready to go. So let's, I want to kind of start off by saying last night I thought the Q posts were, I was anticipating after Easter they'd be glorious, and I think they were. I mean, these were really important posts. The one that really struck me as being immediately recognized, the 988, where Q says, you know, immigration bill, border, wall, military start, big month. Well, all that happened today. I mean, the immigration bill is now being pushed. Whether they'll get an immigration bill or not, I'm not sure, but clearly Trump has got much more of a mandate for it. The border has become the issue most of today, and building the wall. And now it's clear that Trump is going to send the military to the border. Now, what exactly that means, I think, is still being discussed in D.C., and I'm not sure there's yet 100% sure of what it means, and whether it's going to be the National Guard, whether it's going to be active military units. I'm not sure yet. But what was significant about Q's post last night to me was when he said military start. In other words, this is going to be Trump's first but not last use of the military. And so it's a game-changing event in that now Trump is bringing the military into the solution. And that's different. That's, again, a marking of the transition from the Mueller attempt to impeach Trump over Russian collusion, a narrative which I'm continuing to maintain has completely disintegrated. Nothing left of it. It's a total shambles. If Mueller is trying to go after Roger Stone, he's really at the dead end. And this, I think, is the last straw in his attempts. And if you take a look at the article, for instance, we talked about the Sun last night, that was up on Drudge. Drudge even removed the article in terms of going after Roger Stone for saying he was going to have dinner with Julian Assange, when it was clear that was a joke, or he was needling what's his name, the Niemer, this political consultant that he was needling, because he was in who was it? Niebuhr. Nunberg, yeah. Because when Trump said that when Stone said that he was in L.A., which is a considerable distance from having dinner with Assange in London that night. Well, it's not going to happen. And so this whole thing with, I think, subpoenaing Ted Malloch to testify, all of this just strikes me as desperate, thuggish, the kind of thing you do before they pull your plug. You know, I mean, it's like the last straws to gasping for air before you finally give up and realize, you know, you're not going anywhere. If he's down to nabbing college professors, you know, or citizens who've been loyal to government on the airplane, separating them from their families, you know, keeping them for the Easter holidays, stealing their cell phones, like he did with Ted Malloch, it's disgraceful. And as I said today, the article up on Newsmax, I was interviewed by Newsmax today, and I said the same thing there. It's disgraceful. Reminds me of a bad Edward G. Robinson or James Cagney movie, you know, from the 1930s. And if that's where they've descended with Mueller's operation, it'd be better to put it out of its misery. You know, because it's now just an embarrassment. The fact that President Trump is taking decisive order on the action on the border, and he's not going to allow these whatever you want to call them. And by the way, they're changing the narrative. I heard a little bit of Shep Smith. I was in the process of changing the channel. I sometimes can't change the channel fast enough on Shep Smith, so you actually catch a few things of what he's saying. He was trying to change the narrative that this is a every year event, and these people are just a few of them, and they're going to call attention to the thousands more who need amnesty in Honduras and El Salvador. Why don't they fix up Honduras and El Salvador? Why are they our problem? And why do we have to, you know, take them into the United States just because they walk as a caravan? I mean, clearly Obama would have been down there with Ubers to bring them up, you know, to allow them into the country and put them up in hotels. So, you know, this is really, I think, a complete reversal. And Trump has said, A, we need new immigration law. B, if Honduras continues this, we'll cut off aid to Honduras. C, going to rip up NAFTA. You know, and so Carlos Slim and his boys at the New York Times, who I'm still extremely angry at for not putting Killing the Deep State on the bestseller list despite outselling. It should have been number 4 on the list based on sales. This to me is, you know, a new sheriff in town who is not in love with Mexico as the Bushes were, and as Obama was in love with anybody who didn't like America. So that included a lot of these immigrants who were coming here not because they liked America. And basically, these are key elements, I think, in changing the narrative on the border, which needs to be changed. And it's going to be the liberal press and, Governor Moonbeam and all the rest in California. They're going to have nervous breakdowns that these people are going to be stopped at the border by the military. But I think the Americans throughout the core of the country are going to rejoice that finally we're taking steps to enforce immigration laws and protect the border, and that Trump is serious about it. And that was a major focus last night of the posts that we got. And I think a game changer, a real game changer. Now, from here on, I expect the military are going to be called on increasingly. We're going to realize that we are in a state of national emergency as declared by that executive order on December 21st. And that Trump will not hesitate to use the military, including ultimately military tribunals, to enforce any aspect of protecting the United States, in this case from what appears, I think, properly characterized as a foreign invasion, organized by globalists who have no respect for our borders. But they're about to learn some respect for our borders, I believe. And I think Trump is serious. Any comments on that? Let's see what's going on in the live chat. Any good comments that we need to bring forward? Anyone see any over there that you want to comment on?
Did you see the article I just dropped in Discord live text?
Let's see it.
Regarding Alex van der Zwaan?
Regarding, oh yes, he was sentenced to. Okay, that's a good one.
Yes, it is. That's pretty big news.
Well, he was sentenced to 30 days in prison for lying to federal investigators in the special counsel probe. He's the son-in-law of a Russian oligarch, German Khan. He was sentenced to 30 days in prison, pay a $20,000 fine. I mean, this is, again, the only thing that Mueller's got. This is the first big indictment. I mean, lying again. Well, I wonder who rewrote his 302 interrogation report. Lying about his communication. Hold on. Yes? I'll have to get you later. I'm on phone conference. Thanks. All right. Okay, so Mueller's, basically this is again, I think I'm sorry that this guy has to go to prison for 20 days. Oh. But, this should be an embarrassment. This is all he's got. And it's being touted as his first conviction. After more than a year trying to prove Russian collusion, getting nowhere, and we're supposed to be impressed by this. This is complete and total nonsense. It's a failure. It's an embarrassment. It makes Mueller look like a hack.
Yeah, we had our fellow contributor in here, Feisty Cat, mentioned that when I dropped this article a few hours back, let's see, what did she say? Disagree. Okay, investigation is going nowhere. This is the first thing out of the bullpen. Total nothing burger. Mueller needed a win, and this barely gives him bragging rights. And not even that. It really is pathetic.
It is pathetic. You field a team that's supposed to win the Super Bowl, and, you brag because while the team didn't make a touchdown in the entire game, that they scored a field goal. I mean, it's pathetic. Still lost the game. And I think that basically you're seeing the American people who are recognizing this, who are recognizing finally that this marks not the beginning of Mueller's prosecutorial efforts, but the end.
Yeah, how many millions and millions and millions of dollars has been wasted on this? And this is the outcome. This is all that has come up. This is what they have. This is the best they got.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been at least $28 million, maybe more. Is his whole team of, rabid hate Trump Democrat lawyers, including Weissman, who has no ethics whatsoever. Hillary Clinton, 100% in the bag. And, again, these are the kinds of things that I think most Americans see as marking the fact that we've spent over 2 years now on this lie that Trump colluded with Russia, and it traces back to the DNC emails that were stolen, and the failure to investigate the Democrats, which is to me astounding, and completely exposes Mueller as a hack. I was very interested yesterday when in post 988 when Q said, April, the Inspector General's report, Sessions, public attack. I think this is going to be, we're going to see, action. And RR, which I take to be Rod Rosenstein, problems. Well, if Rod Rosenstein's got problems, giving Sessions the wrong advice on recusing himself on Russia, covering up the Russian bribery scheme and the Uranium One deal, well, then Mueller's got problems because Mueller was his conspirator there. And seals broken. I think there must be some sealed indictments here that are involving the coup d'etat, treasonous activity within the FBI, the Department of Justice, arrests. Why was Huber made public? Why now? Well, again, I think to make it clear that there's action being taken. And it also sets the stage for a special prosecutor, because what Sessions made clear was not that he wouldn't appoint a special prosecutor, but that if there were the kinds of conflicts of interest in investigating the Department of Justice that merited someone outside, then a special prosecutor could yet be appointed. But at least Huber from the inside can take all the work that the Inspector General Horowitz has done, plus his 470 investigators, and take Horowitz's material and translate it into grand jury investigations and indictments. And why now everything has meaning, including Awan. And I saw Awan back in the news today again on Fox. It was made a big issue of in Fox and Friends, and was repeated at different times during the day, where the Democrats really did no security checking on these Awan brothers.
That's interesting because they seem to have been almost entirely out of the media for months.
And Q's pointing out it's significant they're coming back because it's now the, we didn't forget this. This is also going to be on the screen. And then the tarmac meeting with Loretta Lynch and former President Trump, Iran, North Korea, Uranium One, the FBI, the Department of Justice, Mueller. So he begins, Mueller, Rosenstein's up at the top and Mueller's here too. Election integrity, which is the report on the voter fraud coming out from the Department of Homeland Security. The Q earlier said was going to show the Democrats allowed millions of illegals to vote and ignored legitimately cast ballots. And then when 989 was repeated and Q answered it, 988 was repeated in 989, and Q added Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, Google, big problems. Well, I think that means that they're going to go very hard after all of these social media giants and, the loss of billions that Zuckerberg has experienced is just beginning. And by the way, there was a hilarious site which I've been tweeting about today. I want to make sure everybody has seen it that came out today. It's on Zuckerberg and Schumer. And this is a devastating website. Let me show it to you for a minute here. And I was tweeting about it earlier today. Hold on. And got some really impressive memes with it. Let me find it right here a second. Hold on. Oh, yes, here we go. It's zuckschumer.com. And now we're down to the point where Zuckerberg is now a joke, which means he's going to be thrown to the lions and he's going to lose his billions. Zuckerberg Schumer, I just dropped the link into the Discord. Does everybody see it? You can put it in the live chat.
Yes, sir.
So this site represents the power of big tech monopolies like Facebook and Google that spy on our every move online. They sell our most private data to political targeting and advertising groups and to the Washington political stooges who protect them. Zuck Schumer represents the power of peeping Tom billionaires, CEOs like Mark Zuckerberg and their political attack dogs and protectors like Chuck Schumer. And they also combine it with Schumer's pal Anthony Weiner, who was often described as a Schumer protege who used Facebook to sext underage girls. And then if you take a look down, take a look at some of these memes that they've developed, which I think are pretty amazing. I'm going to try to pull one up here, which I think is which they involve Zuckerberg and Schumer kind of blended into each other. And then let me see if I can find it right here. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Okay. This one. Yeah, this one's good. You know, you can put that maybe over in live chat. You can't watch your kids 24/7, but we can. And the hashtag is Zuck Schumer. Z-U-C-K Schumer. There's Schumer and Weiner with Zuckerberg. Thumbs up. And there's a whole series, about 6 or 7 of those. And I was posting them today. 2 I like the best with Zuckerberg. And I can really, I think the downfall for these social media company was when they decided to censor. Censoring as they did. I think censoring my account on YouTube and the attack I made on Eric Schmidt and CIA and every click you make. When Trump got a hold of that, Trump realized that, that my account had been censored and that InfoWars was under attack. He looked at his own Twitter and realized that he was being blocked. You had to have your browser sent to handle sensitive material, even to read his tweets. All of this pushed Trump over the edge. And I think these guys are going to regret the day they ever decided they could censor everybody off the internet. And this other one here, so I was tweeting, let me just put this one up first. I was tweeting this all day today, and when I was tweeting it, I was making the point that, this is Facebook equals the NSA equals the CIA. And this is, the peeping Tom. Remember, Zuckerberg said all these naked pictures are saved from Twitter, the James O'Keefe. We found out that they were all available in the archives, and were still being retained forever, all the naked pictures they got a hold of. Which again, evidently to some of these kids seems like a really, the thing to do when they're young, but they may not want those pictures around forever. Probably shouldn't want them around at all. And then one more I want to show that I really made a lot out of today. And that was the one, when it gets down to this level, the guy is done. This is this was in the Daily Mail, I believe, about Zuckerberg going berserk because a photographer, 2011, photographed him picking up the dog poop. I thought, maybe this is Zuckerberg's highest and best use. Go around picking up dog poop the rest of his life. He certainly thought he was king for a while and God, and his ability to censor everybody, and he still does. Okay, let's see. All right, so I'm just taking a look and seeing if there's any comments over here in the live stream on this. People are asking about some unrelated issues, but I want to stay on theme for a minute. Zuck Schumer is no longer available. I think I just looked at the website. It's right there. It's I just find it again. ZuckSchumer.com. Is it not showing up? Let me try to pull it up. Maybe the website is down. Is anyone seeing it? Can someone else check it on their browser?
What's the URL again?
ZUCK Zuck Schumer, SCHUMER.com.
Let me see if I can.
I'm reading it down for me.
You can read it, right? It's still there.
I'm getting a
Yes,
503
sir.
error on it.
Pardon me?
But I'm getting a 503 error on
Yeah,
it.
same here. I'm getting nothing.
So it's not pulling up.
Correct.
Yep, it seems to be down.
Wow. They pulled it already.
Lots of funny things going on with websites today.
Is it .com? Is that not a private website?
Yes, I'm sure it is. I'm not wondering who pulled it. Don't think Schumer might or Zuckerberg might have had anything to do with it, do you?
No, of course not.
Absolutely. Referring to Q Post 993, learn how to archive offline.
That's going to be a good idea.
There you go.
That's going to be a very good idea.
Dr. Corsi, did you save all the memes from that page?
I did. You want
You're
them?
the man.
I did.
Please post them.
I copied
I see. Sorry about that. I see some people out there in live chat saying they are still able to see the site. And one saying that seems like all these people coming to view it has just overloaded, like all this traffic has overloaded the site. That's how powerful the stream is, I think somebody said. So if any of you are actually able to still see the site, please archive it. Please save it offline.
I'm just dropping them in. There's one that says Facebook, the safest place for sexting with underage girls with wiener. Here's another one.
Oh my.
These are pretty good. This one is that's Schumer, Zuckerberg. Their faces are kind of blended. Sitting next to this young girl on the subway with his arm around her. Zuck Schumer is your invisible friend. She's obviously working on her internet. Here's another one. This is
That's so creepy.
I'm not spying if you agree to terms and it's not spying if you agree to terms and conditions. There's Zuckerberg with his magnifying glass. Here's another one. There's Zuck Schumer blended together. And let's see. I think I got them all here now so far. Wait a second.
That
Here's
almost
another
looks
one.
like Kevin Spacey, actually.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, this one too. It's another one. That's good. That's one of my favorite ones right there. That's a good one. But yeah, I took them as soon as I saw them. I said, you better get these right now, because who knows if they're going to be around in 20 minutes. It's the kind of thing. Here's another one. So now that we've got them, everybody can, copy them and use them. Here we go. That's how much book would Facebook Chuck if Chuck would Facebook Zuck. That's after the old rhyme. And this one's a good one too. Here's another one. Okay, conflict of interest. The daughter of Chuck is working for Zuck. I mean, they really did get them on these. And I think those are the ones. I think there were 6 of them. I think I copied them all. And you've got them all right there. There's the website. So I think that's going to be increasingly, once it gets to this level of ridicule, I think Facebook is done. And you're going to find it's going to have a major impact on the others following. We're not quite at the point of a .com implode yet, but it's on the verge. And people are going to begin realizing they better get their money out of tech stocks right now while the getting is good. When a bubble bursts, the only people who get their money back are the people who pull out first. And so if you've got money in tech, pull it out, would be my advice. Because if you do it now, you get your gains. Yes. Go ahead.
There was an article yesterday. It was a discussion or a back and forth between Tim Cook and Mark Zuckerberg. Did you see that?
No. What did it say? Oh, they were fighting against each other. Yeah.
Yeah, they were fighting with each other over, believe it or not, digital privacy.
Right.
And the point that Tim Cook was making, and I'll post the sauce in a minute, he was making the point that, you know what, cat's out of the bag. It's too late. You screwed it up for all of us. Thanks a lot, Zuck. It's essentially what he was saying. And
he's right. He's right. He's right. Now that everybody understands that these are all intelligence agency operations, which I've been saying, this is where I attacked Google as soon as they pulled my account, that you guys are just an intelligence operation and you don't realize who you're screwing with. That's why I said, let's take it in the backyard and duke it out. I meant it. I mean, you want to pull my account, you want to pull it. And the problem is, they'll pull people's accounts who don't have the same kind of clout. And we can't protect everybody. What do you do when you're, someone trying to post and they pull you and, you're just one of thousands that they pulled. And that's what they were hoping on, that no one would fight them back.
It's actually worse than that, Dr. Corsi. I've got a friend who lives in the UK. She's a teacher. And recently, her contract came up for review. And they looked at her online posting, and because she liked a Q post, she was disqualified from participating in employment.
Yeah, well, that's where the left is headed. That's what the left would like to do here. It's Maoists. They do not believe in the First Amendment. They want to be able to punish you for thought crimes. This is part of what our founding fathers fought against. But, these hard leftists in the universities don't have a clue about history or what the Constitution was about, or the Bill of Rights or the Declaration of Independence. None of this, because they're not taught. And, they're too busy. They were trying to get them diverted on Facebook to giving all their information, self-reporting and sexting, into Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, such a jerk, He blew the whole thing.
Actually,
Lied.
one question for you. I was wondering if this meme might resonate with you, that a lot of the employees of the digital giants, the digital tech giants, they are not U.S. citizens. They come from all over the world where the labor is cheap and where the notion of individual rights and the notion of a Bill of Rights, they are alien and they are completely ignorant of them. Yet these digital giants operate within our confines, within our borders. And these people who have absolutely no comprehension or understanding of Bill of Rights are writing the very code that is constraining speech. So should they not be treated as a foreign agent?
I think in some ways they should be. I mean, this is what's going to happen with Zuckerberg. I mean, first of all, in this kind of an attack, when you look at Zuckerberg and realize the hypocrisy, you are self-recording everything about yourself, where you are, what you like, what you're doing, how you look, what you're wearing, all the, and then people doing the most intimate things on these websites as if they were private. CIA is grabbing it all. NSA is grabbing it all. And you just gave it to them for free. In fact, CIA and the NSA funded Google's and Facebook's to create it in order to be this, soft, appealing interface to the Gestapo back room of the NSA and CIA. And the left doesn't mind invasions of privacy under the Fourth Amendment because the left intends to control the Gestapo. Gestapos and KGBs are both on the left. They're both totalitarian government artifacts. Somebody who's, on the right, who is a constitutionalist or comes out of the tradition of Aristotle and Hobbes, Locke, Hume, John Stuart Mill, etc. We want limited government. We don't want any government intrusions like this. And government keeping permanent records of all this material. We're inherently suspicious of it. It's why, you're not finding leftists off the grid the same way you're finding it's true conservatives who are thinking about how do we live off the grid because of the concern about government control. And when Zuckerberg, I'm not even sure Zuckerberg created Facebook. I mean, Zuckerberg's always seemed to me like he's got some kind of a brain damage. The way the guy looks like he's, only partially there, like he did too much LSD before he was 10 years old. And he always looks spacey to me. And so whomever wrote it, the code, and produced Facebook, I'm confident, always have been confident, that, as you see, and even in the movie it's portrayed, how cutthroat Zuckerberg was in cutting others out. The lawsuits he had over control, and those who felt like he had stolen their intellectual property to create Facebook. And so you've got a situation where once that bubble's burst, once you realize that you're turning over all this data to the government and it's going to be used against you, how do you put that genie back in the bottle? You can't. And that's going to apply to Google. It's going to apply to all the rest of them. It's why I think increasingly Q saw this coming, and he was talking about Internet Bill of Rights. He was talking about 100% regulated. He was talking about these companies being broken up, about them having no, breakup value or no, their bankruptcy value is going to be next to nil. And only people who get out first are going to get their money because the stock on these can precipitously drop. Once it becomes clear the FTC is going to regulate them and that FTC order is issued, and privacy regulations begin impacting in Europe, investors are going to run to get out of there as quickly as they can, but it will generally be too late. If you wait that long, it'll be too late. And, you know, I say that from experience of having been, you know, in investment business for a long time. Now, Q was also last night impatient with this anonymous in 990 who said, you know, you're letting us down, you know, you oversold us at March Madness. And he was saying, you know, North Korea, isn't that good enough for you? I mean, basically, here we have North Korea stepping down. And it put in perspective, yes, everybody wants to see Hillary Clinton tomorrow. Well, it's going to take some time. But the point is that once these things change, once they turn, once it's a, you know, one phase is over and the next has begun, it becomes, you're going to play that next phase out. I go back to the chess game, which I think is probably the enduring image for what we're experiencing. The one that Assange posted on the Capablanca Marshall game, 1918. I've said this many times. You know, that the initial attack on Black, which was Marshall, failed. And it failed, you could point the move at which it failed. Here Marshall ends up, his pieces are advanced. Capablanca's parried them, his king is safe. Got his pieces nicely developed for, you know, the next phase. And at that last move the Capablanca, the Marshall makes in the attack, he realizes that the game is over. And now it's down to whether Capablanca is going to make a mistake. And when Capablanca begins the second phase, counterattack is fundamentally different. Well, we're at a game-shifting moment right now. And the game shifting is sometimes hard to see, but it's with the appointment of Huber and the beginning of the lining people up to be prosecuted among the criminal traitor co-conspirators in the deep state. And that's what my book was written to point out. You know, how shocking this was and how truly criminal it was and how it could not just be excused or laughed off. And secondly, we're game shifting with Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, Google. It's shifted. They're no longer we're private companies, we can do whatever we want, we can censor you. That's why I said, oh yeah, you think so? Well, how about Google? Let's talk about, Eric, let's talk about CIA contracts. Let's talk about Lockheed's role in early Silicon Valley and the CIA money they brought into you guys. Let's talk about ecstasy. Let's talk about all the parties you guys did with prostitutes and drugs when you didn't remember how you ended up in your beds at night, where your wives were. Now, maybe Eric didn't do all those drugs, but I'd like to talk more about the picture where you're all celebrating 2011.
Oh, we have breaking news here. Active shooter at YouTube headquarters.
At YouTube headquarters?
Yes, sir.
Active shooter.
Active shooter at YouTube office in San Bruno.
Ah, okay.
That's from TruePundit.com.
False
My
flag.
antenna is raised for many reasons.
TruePundit.com.
Yes. And by the way, on the chess note, just say this before I forget, and correct me if I'm wrong. I love this. Doesn't Capablanca translate as white cap or white hat?
Yeah, it is white hat.
Yeah.
Kappa is hat. Blanca is white hat. Possible active shooter. Breaking news in San Bruno. Well, let's watch it. Let's see what it develops into being.
Yeah.
So far, we don't have anything more than the headline. And that headline is coming from Cron 4 Bay Area news station, so it is probably happening. Something's happening. It says, multiple calls from YouTube, headquarters, police, San Bruno police tweeted at 1 p.m. to avoid the area. Well, I'm sure that nobody there is carrying, so it'll be a gun-free zone. And as I point out many times, these gun-free zones are wide open opportunities to kill a lot of people before the police get there. Okay, so let's continue, because I want to really make a few more points on the game-changing nature of what we saw last night. The post that came in after I kind of quit last night, 992, which is again this where we go one, we go all. And we did find that over the Easter on the bell of the yacht John Kennedy owned, presidential yacht, the Honey Fitz. Drops will go fast. We may even see tonight more Q drops, but I think they're going to come like they did last night, and drops will come fast. White House clean SIG, that usually means what? Signal? It's a clean for signal intelligence. So in other words, they probably secured some of the leaks. A marker. Now there's a marker of that change. Everything is planned, and the years, remember earlier on, Q said that who asked Trump to run? And I had pointed out that there had been a coup d'etat planned against, military coup d'etat planned against Obama that was called off. I knew about it when I'd heard about it. Someone had called me and told me it was going on, and then told me it was called off. And I think the military have reorganized behind Trump, asked him to run, and the military is going to do that coup now with Trump in a lawful fashion to reinstate the Constitution. And that's where the military start as another game changer. A unity, awakening, we fight, Lexington Concord, stay together. So this is the beginning again. Lexington Concord was the beginning of the Revolutionary War. These are our Lexington and Concords. These are the beginning of Second Revolutionary War. And then follow Bolton. It's going to, clean, stage, learn how to archive offline. The streets will not be safe for them. Part of Bolton's job is to clean out the White House and to, get rid of all the national security people that McMaster's brought in, to get rid of all these Obama holdovers. Truthfully, Trump does not need a chief of staff. All these people just become a nuisance to Trump to manage. Trump could pretty much run the White House with 6 or 7 people, except to do things like open the mail and other things that require some hands. But in terms of the senior staff, in terms of the daily responsibilities, he could run it with a very, very small group, which is probably what he's going to end up doing, just like he runs his business. And then 994, operators on site, deep, safe. And I think all this means that we're now at the end. Mueller's finished. It needs to be put out of his misery. The net needs to be closed down. And it may take some criminal investigations to close it down. It may take Judge Sullivan to rule in the 30 days, as Q has said, as possible, that Flynn can withdraw his guilty plea. But the game has shifted. Oh, by the way, we also talked about the Roseanne last night, and I mentioned that I wasn't sure that Roseanne was really, I thought this was just a mockery of the president. And it's coming out increasingly today that Roseanne is just as leftist as ever and was just, creating this new show to mock Trump. And my basic tweet on that was, Holly weird, who cares what they do? Can act up all they want. They're pretty much irrelevant too. And we also had the shout out, the tip-top, tippity, top shape, which Trump said during the Easter egg roll, but had been requested to be said by one of the QANONs. It was kind of like a wink. I think we've gotten a remarkable set of posts. Also, this one on the Beverly Eckert and Hillary and her accident or death in the airplane crash, which I think are now suspect, again show the level of criminality of Hillary, the deep awareness of it. That, the key phrase here that really jumped out at me was, the years. Everything is planned years. But this has been planned for years. The military has been dying to do this, talking about doing it, thinking what the steps would be, strategizing it, figuring it out, and finally getting a president capable of implementing a plan to have a military coup to take back America. A legitimate coup to reestablish the Constitution using the military power to a limited extent that it has to be used. For instance, you can't have, a civil trial of Hillary in Washington, D.C. with a communist judge and a socialist jury. And I think all of these things are now game-shifting, game-changing against the social media, fundamentally reframing them as enemies of freedom, not empowerers of greater communication capabilities. And what's being said over in the live chat? Anything else over there? People, Zuckerberg, and I think we've made our points about Zuckerberg. Are people agreeing, or people are saying we live in the Bay Area and have been notified of an active shooter at YouTube? Okay. Shots heard, people running while at my desk, now barricaded inside a room with coworkers. It's evidently from someone in the inside. Let's see what else they're saying.
Susie Odom says SWAT is now at YouTube HQ.
I see that. Okay.
It ought to be the Marines.
Well, 2 people shot, reportedly, according to Cernovich. So now we've got another one going that will divert attention. And, that will be into this one now for a while. But it's interesting, if it's going to be on YouTube, what the motive of this guy or person is in terms of turning on YouTube. Okay, but I wonder if it's going to occur to them the need to harden the target and to have armed carry at a place like YouTube. I mean, I would think increasingly people would want to be able to work in environments where there was armed carry. Wouldn't want to bring your children to school in a place where there was armed carry. Concealed carry. What I meant, concealed carry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's see.
Dr. Corsi, yesterday there was an article by an interview with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar amplifying the Roseanne Barr watch out comment you made a minute ago. Just wanted to say, haven't seen that, take a look.
I did. I posted it I saw it and put it up on Twitter and Gab. I'm increasingly trying to post things on Twitter and Gab pretty much at the same time. Although I found Gab, I still can't get the large videos to load on Gab. I'm still having trouble doing that. I don't know, Pamphlet, if we've solved that problem yet or not. Have we? I don't think so. Large videos loading on Gab.
As I recall, the limit is up to 1 gigabyte.
Yes,
1
but
gigabyte video files?
it just does. I can't get these these live streams that we're doing here on the Decodes load easily on YouTube, but they don't load over on Gab.
Right.
Still a problem. I really like the Gab situation, but I want them to be able to load more of the videos.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. We can probably, we've been at this for about an hour. Why don't we call it quits and see what the news is going to be on this active shooter situation. And I think anyone any other questions, or I do think we're at a game-changing point. And, let's see how the next few days unfold. But from what Q has said, that we're, despite diversions and everything else that we're going to get, I think the agenda is intact. And I think Donald Trump is going to be able to use every one of these situations to make the points that he wants. And again, I think we'll be, hearing much more, as he emphasized before, the need to have in all these settings people who are qualified and want to, and willing and qualified and trained, be able to do concealed carry. I think is very important. But I think, the final comment I wanted to make is that I think that we can expect now from Q to see flurries of these posts, which he's suggesting we're going to see, and there's going to be, big developments happening almost every day now in terms of the advancing of these issues. And I'm just wondering how they're going to pressure Mueller to close up shop. I think that pressure is going to intensify, and we've got to see when the Inspector General report is going to come out, when the DHS report on voting is going to come out, because these could be two very, very big events this month. Okay, I'll watch and see if there's posts. If there's more posts, we'll come back. Thank everybody and say God bless, and we'll look forward to rejoining you soon, okay?
God bless
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Dr. Corsi.